last bingo announcement for you. I just wanted to thank everybody who supported our bingo in any way with contributions of sponsorships and fillers and tickets and inviting your friends and all the things. All the stress may not have been as necessary, but it all worked out. We ended up selling about as many tickets as last year. So thank you for sharing it over that last week. We had a big jump in ticket sales the last week. So we appreciate it. It was a great night. We made about $10,500. So we beat last year's income, and I'll sleep until we do it again next year.
How lucky we are to have Julian here and bring some of these new services or changes on the services that we were used to over Holy Week. This is really going to be an interesting week coming up. We've been going over things this week, trying to figure out what's going on. Seriously, it's going to, there will be some new things, and I hope you can come to as many of the services as possible. All would be good. Of that, there are lots of opportunities for you to be part of these things. The two areas, we've had a good number of people that have stepped up and said that they were filling some of the roles over this next week. The only two places we're a little short right now is on the at the Seder meal, at the the meal.
The agape. The agape.
Yes. The agape meal on Thursday, there are one or two reading spots open if you feel like you would like to be involved in that. And then on Saturday night, for the big Easter Vigil, there will be a couple of spots available in there too. So feel free to go online and sign up for those or to contact me directly.
For Thursday, we really need a rough count of how many people, so we have enough food and so the room is set up for enough people. So there are sign-up sheets in the parish hall. I think there are 2 locations. Can't miss it. It says Monday, Thursday, sign up. So if you would sign on one of those, all we need is a name, number of people. So we have a rough estimate. A word about Holy Week. When we use the word holy, holy simply means to set apart, and specifically to set apart for God. So this week is not like any other week in the year. It is a week that we as Christians, with some intentionality, set it apart in worship and in honor of God. And more specifically, as an opportunity for us to enter deeply into the experience of Holy Week. I think that liturgy can do one of 2 things. It can be like my first glance at the Rubens. It's something that we glance at, we kind of go through the motions, but we don't really enter into it deeply. As I have looked at the services for Holy Week, the goal is for us to be able to enter into this mystery of love that knows no bounds as deeply as possible. Some services are different, some services are familiar, but maybe done in a slightly different way. But all of them invites us to a deeper walk with Christ. I'm really convinced that if all our experiences Palm Sunday and Easter, and we neglect to look at the darker side of the story, we're really missing out on a huge aspect of our Christian life. Because as Christians, God is present not just in the glory moments, but God is present in the darkest moments, both in our lives, but also the darkest moments in history. And God redeems that time. So I invite you to walk this week. You're not going to walk the whole time. You're going to sit a lot. But Bishop's visitation is now scheduled for August the 3rd. So if any adults who are interested in being received into the church Maybe you've been attending for years and you finally say, yeah, maybe it's time for me to become an Episcopalian. That'd be kind of a cool thing to do. Reception for most of us is the path for that. And anyone who is 16 years or older who wishes to be confirmed, again, bishop's visitation is the time when that happens. So if you are in that category, just let me know. I'll be starting discovery classes sometime after Easter to get us ready for the bishop's visitation. And finally, our next Bible study on Wednesday is actually a Bible study. We'll be looking deeply into the book of Revelation. We'll begin by exploring the type of writing that is, so we have some clarity in terms of what this book is all about. And then we'll walk through the book of Revelation. Not as much depth as Larissa's class, which is 24 months?
No, 30 weeks.
Oh, 30 weeks, almost as bad. We're 6 weeks, so it won't go into every detail. But Revelation is, I think, one of the most wonderful books in the Scripture, and one that is mostly misunderstood. We put layers upon it that have nothing to do with what John is writing. And so I think it's important that we understand it from John's perspective and what John is trying to convey. So you need a book. There is some reading required, not a lot, some reading, usually a short chapter. And there's a link for you to order that book off of Amazon, or you can get it from Cooksbury also. If you prefer not to do business with Amazon, Cooksbury also carries the book.